this backup singer. So there's a chance for you, Carol.
Maria Carey with Emotions here on 1FM 91.3. Good morning. Welcome to the Brightside. A little bit more laughter here in the studio because we are joined by happiness scientist Sha-En. Welcome back, Sha-En.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Okay.
Yeah, always a pleasure. So we're actually going to talk about regret today. It's definitely something that we all experience. It could be a quick regret, you know, like for me, every time I think of taking my kids to the supermarket and then when it happens, quick regret. I'm just like, yeah,
I feel you.
Can you tell us, you know, we're all familiar with that saying, live life with no regrets. And it kind of makes you wonder if it's true. Can you share with us your thoughts on that?
I mean, we first got to understand what is regret, right? Regret is an emotion, and most of the time it's not positive, right? It's a negative emotion that makes us feel worse, not better. And I think for me, that live life without regret, it's got this feeling of carpe diem, seize the day. Let me just go and do whatever I want. And sometimes that makes us make decisions that we actually regret.
The irony of the situation,
Yeah. So live life without regret. I think it depends on how you look at it. I mean, really, if you've got some people do unfortunately have a short timeline, then maybe they want to seize the day, right? But for some of us, we are going to live 80, 90 years, you know, so maybe living life without regret may not be so ideal.
Yeah. It's a good approach to have towards life. I mean, a good kind of goal. You know, you do the things that you want to do. If not, you end up regretting it. But when I do look back, I do have stuff I've regretted in my life because of what you said, that carpe diem mentality. Just do it. If not, you regret it. But then when I look back, actually, that may not have been such a wise thing to do. Have you guys actually found yourself in a position like that?
Oh, for sure. Many times. I think I don't have enough fingers to like...
We have a colleague here in SPH who lives with that motto. I have no regrets in life, he says. None whatsoever. And he's lived a pretty full and colourful life. Yeah, so I don't know whether it's a guy-girl thing or whether it's just something he's learned to embrace. But, you know.
Yeah, I think some people have that mentality, and I think we are all different. We have to decide what matters to us and what values. And I think in the book that Daniel Pink wrote, The Power of Regret, he says that we need to understand ourselves, and that determines how we want to live our life. And also, do we reflect on our regrets?
Okay.
Or do we just regret it and then regret it and then regret it and take no action?
Okay, maybe that colleague doesn't reflect very much.
Hasn't read the book yet.
All right, so what does the science and research show about the true impact of regret on people?
Yeah, regret, you know, when handled correctly, it has its benefits. Number one, it improves your decision making, right? You know, when you regret, you feel that stab, you feel that sting, and you're like,
I regret eating 500 grams of Famous Amos cookies, yes.
That one don't need regret lah, so shiok lah, you know.
Thank you, Sha-En, for saying that.
That's why she's here. That's why she's happy.
I also feel like having some. Yeah, you know, then regret can also actually boost performance. If you think about it, right? If we take the time to think about how we did, we can actually set goals and improve our performance persistently over time. Yeah, of course, I mean, if you linger too long on the regret, you overthink it, you mull over it too long, then of course it can affect your well-being. Right, so I think that's what people don't like about it.
Yeah. It makes us feel yucky.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like, why did I do that, right? And then you keep going, ruminate, then of course that's going to be lousy.
So just eat one less cookie next time, Carol. And I assure you there'll be
grams.
There'll be no regret.
Pass the cookies to me, then we share the regret.
Sharing is good. Yes. Okay, this is a big one. Okay.
Yes.
Now next question. What are the top 5 regrets of people?
Yeah, so I mean, I love this book called The 5 Regrets of the Dying, written by Bonnie Ware, who's a palliative nurse. And the first one is, I wish I had the courage to live life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So a sense of authenticity. Some of us do things because someone else expected it of us, wanted us to do it. You know, this narrative?
Oh my gosh, I definitely feel I'm vibing with that quote for sure.
Yes.
We're always living according to other people's expectations rather than setting our own expectations for ourselves. It's our life, right?
Exactly.
We write the story.
We are the one walking the road, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes we start thinking that their expectations are our expectations because we've just been like,
we've been exposed to it.
Yeah,
that's right. And then the second one is, I wish I hadn't worked so hard.
Guilty.
Okay, I better start now. Don't work.
Bye.
Okay,
See you
bye.
later.
Okay, yeah, bye.
Go and have coffee already. I wish I had the courage to express myself and my feelings. I think a lot of people keep a lot of feelings inside, assuming that maybe other people in their life already know it, you know, but that's the third
I
one.
think in an Asian culture, I think growing up, I struggled with saying I love you to my parents. Like I never heard those words said to me.
Yeah.
But I think one day when I was 19, I had an epiphany. I decided, I can be the one to build that bridge, with my parents and to tell them I love them first. And it really changed the dynamic of my relationship with my parents.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think sometimes when we're afraid, we hold it in. Think about how this could potentially change your relationships.
Yeah,
for the better.
And that's one of the things they suggest, to think about what if regrets in the future. You future project your regret, and then you bring yourself back to the present moment and say, I'm going to say I love you now.
Yeah.
Do I need to wait 20 years later to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Is this a connection or relationship regret?
Actually, that really happened to me when a close friend passed away unexpectedly, just way before his time. And I just realized I was so caught up with being mom that I kind of like didn't keep track with all my friends, and then before this guy had passed on, and I'm like, there's no more chance. So that was a huge regret.
On the topic of sudden deaths, my brother said one thing once that really woke me up. He says, always make sure your last interaction with that person is a positive one.
Because you never know, right? As you walk away, you're fuming met the other person as well, and then
and I've actually experienced that firsthand a few times as well, like an uncle or even my dad. I wish it could have been better.
And then the last one is, I wish that I had let myself be happier.
Ooh, wow. Permission to be happy.
Yes.
Why is that hard?
I think sometimes when we experience happiness, there's this term that Brené Brown, who is a researcher, uses called foreboding joy. When we feel happiness, we almost always anticipate that this is not going to last, and then we start to have a foreboding effect, like, is something going to happen, is this something I'm going to mess up, and then you don't allow yourself to soak in and savor that happiness.
Isn't that sad? It's like it's too good to be true,
so you must enjoy your cookie, Carol. It brings you happiness,
but then you feel guilty as well, and then like, why am I the one eating all the calories?
This is so interesting. No, it's really really interesting what you've just shared here on the top 5 regrets.
All right, we are live on Facebook as well. Join us there, facebook.com/1FM91.3. You can see how happy Sha-En is today, whether or not she has cookies. We're also on YouTube, and we'll be back with more of Sha-En in just a bit, talking about regret this morning. Send us your questions via WhatsApp 88550913 or join us online for a chat. Lovely day. Talking about cookies, yes.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live. We are here in the studio with Sha-En Yeo, our happiness scientist. Hey, she is a #1 best-selling author as well as a 2-time TEDx speaker. Wow. I don't even know what I do with my time, but she does everything,
She's very productive.
You cheer us up on radio.
Hey, don't make me blush. Don't. So you can find out more about her at happiness-scientist.com, as well as her Instagram, Happiness Scientist, all in one word, or even her own personal Instagram at Sha-En Yeo. The theme for today is regret. So if you have any questions, tell us, perhaps, share with us a regret that you have in your life. If you're comfortable doing so, it might just win you this wonderful prize worth close to $400. It's a radio frequency treatment from Follicle Hair Spa and Salon. Drop us those comments right now to our Facebook Live.
Have you read that letter that a nurse wrote once? She had spoken to patients who were dying, and then she actually compiled a list of like the top, 10 regrets of the patients who are dying. And I think one of them was, they were just working too much.
Yeah. Spending too much time working. Not that work is not important, but I think it's when it dominates your life, and then you end up having regrets in other areas, like your relationships, your health. Daniel Pink's book talks about 4 categories of regrets. Foundation regrets, which is like not being planful with your health. Not seeing the doctor when you notice something, right? Or like financial regrets. He calls those foundation regrets.
Okay.
And then there's like boldness regrets. Why didn't I do that thing that I should have? Or I wanted to. It's like it required courage for me to say something, do something, pursue that degree, blah, blah, blah. Boldness regrets.
I like that one because it's always rooted in fear. You're afraid of doing something. And one time I actually told myself, I won't live my life in fear. The only way I'm going to conquer this is if I confront my fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you do that, it's taking a bold step, a courageous step towards.
What, after you told yourself that, what was it that you were able to do?
I was able to speak to this person. Basically, I was a former teacher that I thought like hated my guts because, I was not a great math student. And so when I encountered her again one day, she was now in a different position, and I had to actually speak to her for I can't remember, but it was an official business kind of thing. I was just really not wanting to confront her. But I told myself, why am I feeling this way? I mean, I don't want to live my life in fear of this person forever. And when I did go up to talk to her, she couldn't even remember who I was. She's like, who are you?
But you must have felt great. Something just lifted off you.
I was like,
right, your
all
shoulders.
this was in my head the entire time. So that's when I learned the lesson. I'm like, hey, what I feel might not be what the other person is feeling at all.
That's a very interesting point. What do you feel about that, John?
I think we tend to keep it in our hearts a lot because we like Harold says we assume things, and when we assume things we miss information, and that is what the person sees, what the person thinks, and also how the person has changed over the years.
Yeah, correct.
We think that they're still the same person they were 20 years ago, but so many things have transpired. The perspective on things have transpired, has changed as well.
It's about giving yourself a chance and the other person as well. So especially when you move, I think when you're moving into a new work situation and you hear a lot of things about your new boss, or maybe you're getting a new boss, and there's a lot of hearsay, and then that can really wind you up. I was just talking to a friend about this, and a lot of the times it's really in our heads, and you got to give that person a chance as well to prove themselves.
Yes, and you can't dislike someone from. We tend to dislike someone from afar, but the best way is to go in, be curious, stay active, manage your expectations, and then learn it for yourself, and then you can make a conclusion based on actual evidence rather than hearsay.
My goodness, this topic of regret, it's making me wonder, do we work on preventing any regret to set in, or should we be working on how to cope with regret? Because, you can't really run away from it, right? Sometimes it's just like, I shouldn't have done that.
You probably need
really
to do both, right? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, as you think ahead about potential regrets, like for example, I don't want to experience this health issue, then you can kind of bring it to present moment and say, hey, let's do something about it now. Let's start our 10,000 steps, for example, right now. Let's all go for a walk now.
It does require a lot of sitting down and reflecting.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed so.
Yes, and the challenge is that people don't want to reflect upon things that make them feel lousy, right? Because
that is true.
Then it allows that negative emotion to go around in circles.
Yeah, and you really do fall into a spiral, don't you? Once you kickstart one negative emotion, like the regret, guilt follows quite quickly, and then you just spiral down.
I think as a young mom, there are a lot of regrets as well, right? Because you're like constantly thinking about, I could have done this for my kid. I should have this. I should have that.
Yes, tons. It's like a minefield. I think parents regret and guilt.
You can't see this, but I'm holding hands with Sha-En because both of us are mommies. I mean, look, seriously, even if you're a fur mom, same thing. Every day we always feel like we're not doing enough.
But how do you guys get out of that? Like, how do you manage that regret as a young parent?
I think for me, my motto is always, whatever I'm doing, I try to be 100%. I try my best, because then I will capitalize on all the moments that I have. So if I'm on a client call, I'm 100% making sure I listen. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, hey, what did he say? I'm supposed to use that tagline, I forgot it. Then also you have that regret. And then with my kids, when I'm playing with them, I put aside my phone, I'm going to be 100%. And I find that it helps me, because when I'm there, I'm present, like all my senses are about me. And then they can feel me, and then even if it's 5 minutes, they're quite satisfied.
I know a lot of young moms, they deal with frustration because, they get very angry with their kids for not doing certain things. Like, why didn't you learn how to potty properly? Or, I'm spending time away. I'm taking a bit of me time, and they feel very guilty about that.
Oh, honey, that carries on. Even if you're not a young mom, your kids are not young, that carries on.
There are other things.
So that part and parcel of the journey, how do you bring some perspective to that?
Yeah, I think it's part and parcel of the journey, and just recognize that they are learning and growing, and because of that they are testing boundaries and pushing and all of that. And if we see it as a form of defiance, then that's already a belief that's set in stone, and we are going to respond with the typical, which is like, I am your parent, you listen to me, and that's control. But if we see it as, they are growing up, they're testing, they're learning, they're falling, they're struggling, what can I do? And my goal is to guide and support, and of course we will get frustrated.
I think I need to write what you just said on every wall surface in my house, so that I turn and wherever my kid is with me, I'm like, Okay, you're
Because
testing
you are
boundaries.
learning and
note
growing
to
yourself
self, note to
as a
self.
mom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
You're growing
I
up
always
still.
I am. I
Yeah.
tell you this, I'm still very lost. I have 3 kids, but it doesn't make me an expert on anything.
Don't
when
worry,
it
you're
comes
not
to
a
parenting.
basket case yet.
What?
I'm just reading the title of the
Basket
song,
case.
Green Day. Hey, I'm not.
Sila, when you work with someone
labeling.
long enough and we're too familiar,
I'm talking about the music
all
here.
the name calling come out, and then after that say, it's the song title. I never say you basket case.
Very good opportunity.
Yeah, cheeky, this one, very cheeky.
All right, we're jumping back live on air. Join us there. Hang tight. Green Day and Basket Case.
You actually do that really well.
1FM 91.3. Good morning. How are you doing this Monday? You're with Carol and Lavinia on the Brightside, joined by Yeo Sha-En, Singapore's first happiness scientist. She's a #1 best-selling author, 2-time TEDx speaker, and here to talk about regret.
Yeah,
big topic.
Yeah. So why do we do or say things that lead to regret, Sha-En?
I think sometimes we're just caught up in emotion, right? Just now the song Emotion.
Emotion, yeah.
When emotion gets too big, there's a part in our brain called the amygdala that gets hijacked. It seizes up. And then we can't really think. We literally are just back to just an emotional creature. And that's why sometimes we say things when we're really frustrated, angry, sad. We do things and then after that we think like, why? Because when the amygdala has calmed down, then our reasoning comes in, our rationality comes in, and then we're like, hey, was that me? I'm sure you all had this moment.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God, this is like light bulb switching on moment. Because the way she described it, I've been there many times. You?
Yeah, because I mean, you do freeze up, right? Now that you put it in perspective, it's really not my fault. I mean, when you're upset about something, your brain freezes up and it's just trying to preserve itself.
Yes. Survival mode.
Yeah. Through emotions. It's trying to
Exactly.
process all that. And you're human. There's only that many things you can do at one point. And then which is why they say count to 10.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work, count to 10 again.
Yes. Or take a walk, right?
Courtesy of Ted Lasso, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, or go for a walk. So
Yes.
then your brain, your body can kind of like recover in that process.
Yes,
Take a
correct.
step back, so to speak.
Exactly. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you dismiss your feeling either. It's important to recognize and be aware of what that feeling is.
Yeah.
Because your feelings are actually like data. They're teaching you something, right? So when you regret, it's like, oh, maybe I should have done that. So are we listening to that? And if we listen to that, maybe there's something there. And that's why Daniel Pink wrote the book, The Power of Regret. If we listen, maybe we can make meaning of what all this is telling us.
That's a nice perspective. The power of regret.
I think everything happens for a reason. So something as seemingly negative as regret can actually bring some positivity.
Exactly.
In
I've
its own
always
way.
seen regret as a bad thing, as a negative thing, because it just meant
Me
I was
too.
not making good decisions. Yeah.
Correct. But that's when you take a one-directional approach. And that it's all about me. We're always so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This question next. Does regret ever go away? How can we cope with regret?
Well, I guess it does. If you like what Carol says, you confront it, you face it, you think about it, and then you take action, whatever that action is, then it might go away. But then for some of us, I mean, sometimes we can't resolve things if the person is no longer around, in which case, we have to accept and make peace with it. Whether that means maybe redirecting the intention you had for that person or that situation, maybe to somebody else or to another community, in which case then maybe that's a way to make peace.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes
inside yourself.
It's hard to find closure, so to speak,
Exactly.
especially when it comes to the sudden death of a loved one.
Yeah.
And there's just no way to find closure around that.
Yeah. I mean, for many years, I had a friend that I was not in touch with, and I felt really bad about how our friendship ended. And she was based in London, and I thought, that's it. But you can feel that lingering pain around. So, one day I did reach out to her on Facebook. I said, this is just a try. I'm doing what I can to like make amends, and is it possible that we could have a chat someday? And I was so taken aback when a few days later she replied.
Wow.
And she said, Shan, I didn't like the way we left things either. Yeah, I tell you, my tears just keep streaming. How many years of holding that?
Yeah.
So like you said, sometimes it takes a little bit of courage. There's a lot of fear, but if we don't do it, people often regret inaction rather than action.
Yeah, and they say sometimes putting a bit of time and distance, in that situation may help soften things as well, change your perspective.
Exactly.
So to conclude, can we and should we be living life without regret?
I think we can work on our regrets and learn from them. We don't have to feel compelled to live without regrets just because we want to avoid that bad feeling.
Right.
But if it is a mantra that you believe in and it serves you, then by all means go ahead. But if it doesn't serve you and you think, I've got 80 something years to live, I want to be planful, I want to avoid foundation regrets, I want to take care of myself, then plan that way. But when opportunities come, say yes more than you say no. As we said, if you regret inaction more than action, why not? Just go for something there.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't have to do it every single second of your life.
Yeah. Wow.
Carol's eyes just went really big at that point.
Yeah. I mean, because you got to know yourself as well. Are you the kind of person to shy away from experiences and life? And then, yes, you want to say yes more.
Yes.
So that you can live that full life. Right? So, wow. Thank you so much to think about, Sha-En.
Yes,
really
lots,
appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
I thought it was going to be a heavy topic, a heavy discussion. Regret is a big thing, but you've shown me how I can actually take a positive spin and have regret in my life in a good way.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sha-En.
No regrets, talking about regret. Thanks, Sha-En.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Good time. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3.
Hello. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks so much for, sharing your greetings. So many of you have chimed in on Facebook, just greeting us, saying good morning. Thank you for joining in the discussion. I hope, you have some great takeaways from this discussion with Sha-En. We're going to see her again next Monday
I like
as well.
Sue Ching. She chimed in with Frank Sinatra's song, Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Is that My Way? Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's My Way.
Oh, how did I know that? Okay, yes.
My Way is one of those songs that is like imprinted in our brain, I think.
Yeah.
That is, yes, it's such a yes.
I did it my way. Okay, before this goes downhill any further, time to say goodbye.
Bye.
Good times. Greatest hits. 1FM 91.3.